Welcome to the club, 'cause you're that kind of nerd.
Hello, and welcome to the club that is That Kind of Nerd, a show where we talk about nerdy things we're passionate about, and then we judge what we bring to the table. I am this week's host, CJ Mellon, joined by the incomparable Joshua Burns and Brian Thornton.
What up?
Hello and bienvenue.
Since we've been away for a while, we actually have a new show format. At the end of every topic that we're going to be talking about today, I will be judging the conversation since I am this week's host, and I will be awarding points to my co-hosts. The winner with the most points at the end of the show will be next week's host. So, same guy kind of nerd, same Josh, same CJ, same Brian, just a different format. I'm excited for this. So, I missed you guys. Thanks for doing this again.
Is this my cue to say I missed you?
That's what you're supposed to say. Yeah.
I'm reading the script. It doesn't give me the lead in.
Are you on the blue copy?
Sorry.
It's very non-committal on my end, actually. I don't have to. I'm not obligated to say anything of any kind.
I just saw after CJ's done speaking, say I love you, and it doesn't tell me where.
My only understanding is that I'm only to speak in order to earn points, and I don't feel like missing anyone gets me any points. For
you know what? 30 points to Josh for that astute comment.
Wow. You're very prepared for this.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Ready to go for this one.
Well, first, I think we should address the elephant in the room.
Okay, what's that?
It's been a while since we haven't recorded because I read the news that Britney won her conservatorship back, and I just went on a bender and was extremely excited. And now I've dusted myself off, and she's married, and I'm happy for her, and now we're back. So I just wanted to make sure everybody understood why we were gone for so long.
Amazing. Amazing conservatorship.
So, although we are the same That Kind of Nerd that you love, there is no more Cape Talk. There is no more Screen to Stream, as what we're doing is just taking one topic, and we're going to talk about whatever the hell we want, right? So, no limits on segments, no limits on what we can talk about. The world is wide open and our oyster. And with that being our inaugural relaunching, I am going to turn it over to Joshua Burns to lead us off. And see what you got for this week's episode. The floor is yours.
I have a topic. Thank you. I have a topic that is sure to put a lot of people to sleep, or maybe not. I don't know. It depends, I guess, on your viewpoint of shopping and the world of how you spend your money. So, Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference was last week, and they introduced a whole bunch of cool stuff. And I think the thing that flew under the radar was that Apple is introducing a new FinTech. They're introducing Apple Pay Later, right? Which is Apple's foray into the Buy Now, Pay Later segment of retail. I'm sure if you have shopped in the United States or in the UK, anytime in the past 2 years you've seen, little signs like Pay with Affirm or Klarna, advertisements during sporting events and many other shows for these Buy Now, Pay Later apps and services. So Apple's getting involved, right? So I wanted to talk about that. I want to talk specifically about the industry as a whole, and maybe dispel some myths, as well as talk about the pros and cons of it, because I think it's pretty important. Like I think I think I'm pretty well established as a person who likes value, right? Yeah. Not necessarily. That doesn't mean that it needs to be inexpensive. Right, I can get a great value. Might be incredibly expensive, but if it's a great value, it's a great value. The
Foldy Mate speaks for yourself. How is that holding up for you down there, Josh?
It's doing wonderfully. Thank you.
And on the tail opposite of that, I am known for my renowned cheapness, right? And will buy something of lesser quality if it can get the job done, but it was cheap. So I do have questions.
But he'll buy it every year.
That's right. God, he will. He will continue applying that Band-Aid instead of fixing the problem.
Listen, adhesive medical strips are just as good.
No, he's over there using super glue. He's dealing with the pain and just popping some super
Rubbing
glue on
some
there.
dirt and mud and some leaves on it. And it's just like it's
One day,
fine.
the oozing means it's working, guys. It's all right. So, but I
Right.
have some questions about this because, ironically enough, this announcement could not have come at a weirder time where I just used Affirm for the first time to pay later for Steelers tickets. Right, like literally 3 days before Apple's dub announcement of this. I used Affirm for the first time to buy football tickets. So I have lots of questions about Apple Pay later. So hopefully you can help clarify them. So I want to get some first things out of the way. Number one, Josh, do I have to have an iPhone or a Mac in order to use it?
No, it's available iOS, Android, software as a service. I mean, it's available at retailers in their pay formats.
Second part, do I need to have the Apple Card? Is that how that works, or can I use my normal debit card? What do I have to have in order to
For
physically
Apple
cash
Pay
out?
Later?
Yes,
What do you use for Apple Pay right now?
I use my debit card.
Right. So, well, that's a huge mistake. You're doing it wrong and you're ruining it. But yeah, it's all the same methods of payment, right? So you can pay it however you like, but it's just an installment, right?
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not gonna. Many credit card services already have this.
Yes.
Right. They have a plan it or a pay it over time function because this industry is it's like $125 billion industry.
Right.
Right. So, my understanding is that anything linked to Apple Pay can be used for pay later.
And I think I'm
going to confirm that right now.
Okay, good. And I think that's interesting just because typically with Apple stuff, right, the big catch is you have to have the Apple everything in order to even think about it, right? So the fact that this is not only just available across platforms on Android and iOS and on the web and blah, 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 but the fact I don't even have to apply for the Apple credit card, I can use whatever is currently in my Apple Pay is interesting. I'm just curious how they're going to get my money, right? Are they just going to auto debit me blank every single month? But I definitely think this is an interesting way to go about this, and just using one of these companies, it's a convenient way. I don't know if I'm going to do it again a lot, but this was convenient for the time I needed it.
Your question has some weird caveats in there. Like, is it available on any device? Sure. Just like iTunes is, right?
Right.
But if you have an Android device, you're probably not using iTunes. The same way you're probably not using Apple Pay. You would be using Google Pay.
Or Google Wallet, or Google whatever new branding of their payment system they'll come up with next week.
The reason why this topic interested me is that the number of people... the industry increased 2x during the pandemic, right? Just in that time. So it was already a relatively large business in the tens of billions, and it more than doubled in the last 18 months to 2 years, which is kind of crazy. Now, the convenience of pay later is not about... This is the thing I want to dispel. It's not a greedy grab. It's not Apple trying to get your money. Certainly, there's a benefit for them, and that is that likely they're getting a cut of the percentage that is being deferred by not using... Like, pay later, using Apple Pay at a retailer, the retailer has to pay less than their standard credit card charge.
Right. Apple gets a
Apple
small
very
kickback,
likely
right? Yeah.
Gets a cut of that. That's my hypothesis on that. So that said, you as the consumer, you must make the first installment payment on the date of purchase, and then you pay once more per fortnight, which I just wanted to say. You make a
Makes you
payment
feel
every
fancy.
2 weeks.
The
reason that's important, CJ, is that the people using this are generally people with lower than average or no credit whatsoever, where paychecks are more important, right? And
Right,
if
yep.
I could get what I want right? Based on the money that I make over the course of the next, like, I know I'm going to have enough money to get it in a month. I just don't want to wait a month, right? But I can get it now and make even payments each fortnight and have the product that I want without paying any interest and without incurring any fees, either upfront or over time. That's smart.
Yeah. Because I looked at my Affirm, right, for my football tickets, and I've got interest to pay. And it's not huge, right? But there's interest on this amount that I borrowed. But if Apple Pay Later comes out, I don't have that. There's no interest. There's no fees. It's just a flat rate for this product over and over again. And again, I'm a cheap bastard. That's fantastic. That's something that I was like, man, I wish I would have had this for these football tickets. I would have used this and saved myself probably about $90 to $120.
For those listeners who don't have credit or have lower than average credit, Apple Pay Later or, any of those kind of, like, Apple Pay Later, Zip Pay, Zip Money, Afterpay, Open Pay, Pay It Later, Latitude, Split It, none of those are guaranteed to build credit if you're using those, weekly or fortnightly payments. They're just,
I think you just want to say fortnightly. You just want to keep saying fortnightly.
Yeah. I think it's great. If I could, relay it in scores, right? If it were 4 scores ago, like I would absolutely do that, but I can't. So you so rarely get the opportunity to say Fortnite. So I'm saying,
well, I mean, unless you play Fortnite, and then you get to say it all the time.
That's right. But here's the other thing. So look, a lot of these services are incredibly like ridiculous with late fees.
Right.
Like $10 if you're late, say 21 days, and then an additional $7 if you miss another week. It's like a bookie running a VIG.
There's a VIG, right? Yeah. The thing that I thought was interesting for this too was, again, only just because I became aware of these companies by using it for the first time. I saw that when Apple announced that they were doing this, that one of the companies, who shall remain nameless, their stock went down at least 20% based on the fact that Apple was coming into the field.
I think that these services are a value add, especially for as much as I hate to label it Gen Z, that's really, that's the target market. So this is likely something that my kids will be using. I hope they don't. But look, this is available if you need to buy something that you can't quite afford now, but you can afford in the next 30 days. This is a good scenario. Otherwise,
this reminds me of the time that we went to Steel City Con, right? And we're all having a good time. But at that time, I was living paycheck to maybe the next paycheck if I was lucky. And I was looking at the mask, right? The actual like Loki mask. And I was like, I want so bad, but I has no the money. And thankfully enough, Joshua here. I was like, dude, do you just want me to just give you like the $50 that you need to get the goddamn mask that you love? I'm like, please, Samuel, I have some more. And I was able to get it, right? But again, if we were to use something like this, I could go to a con, see something I was not prepared to buy, and then by virtue of just being a mom and pop shop and a tappy of my phone, I can buy this stuff. So like there's things that I can start doing in my nerdy life to not only just get what I want, but get what I want without having to break a bank or open up a new credit card or something like that. I think Brian's going to have to use this with the baby on the way to buy a bunch of Coco Melon toys once baby Thornton gets really indoctrinated into the worldly life and wants all the shiny stuff.
I'm sorry, you guys started getting like really heavy into the tech, and then you like mentioned sports, and I was checked out. What was that?
Fucking Brian. So look, I want
everything you said.
That's good.
I can use Apple Pay to pay things over time every fortnight, right? I heard that word, and it wasn't the game. I can't floss.
Okay, look, I want to put a ribbon on this by actually addressing the thing that CJ just brought up, which is small business. And I think that specifically, I was thinking about comic book shops. So many have closed in the last 2 years that it's makes me super sad face. And these stands that people that people inhabit for days and days at a time at these cons, and they're all, either hoping you have cash or that you can tap to pay and you don't have an Amex, so they don't have to pay that ridiculous percentage. But this is a really good vehicle for expansion for small business without incurring any additional cost. It's good for people that need a little bit of help. I would not advocate it as a long-term solution. This is really good for consumers who need just a little bit extra time, and really good for small business. Big business, they have their own thing, and I don't care. This is not good for big business, and I'm fine with that.
Now, this is contingent on the proprietor accepting Apple Pay, correct?
That's right.
Yes. Apple Pay Later. They have to apply especially for this, not just regular Apple Pay.
I get it. I just want, because I still shop at places they don't accept Apple Pay or any digital payments,
Really?
So I'm
well,
just
stop shopping there. I'm just kidding. It's odd because now everyone has a Square. Like everyone's got Square. It's freaking everywhere, and Square has Apple Pay.
I mean, you can't no digital payment at Home Depot. I don't know if Lowe's has it yet either. I know that for a fact.
Yeah,
which is odd, right?
They're pretty big box though, but yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But
scratches the head about it, right?
Walmart is digital pay, right? And even it's super simple to use, right? So it's just one of those, like, when I just need a battery for a power drill, I think I have to take my wallet in with me, and I hate it.
Yes. That has been the best part about having Apple Pay is, like, even today I went to a small like ice cream shop run by Mennonites, and they took Apple Pay, right? I didn't have my wallet with me. Completely forgot my wallet, but I have my phone, and the Mennonites are there just like, you can just tap to pay right there. It's like, oh, thank God, I forgot my wallet. So, like,
you got out your abacus and you were trying to calculate the tip? Like, what?
They're like, Jebediah is going to take you outside and mess you up if you don't do it. So
Are they Irish now, the Mennonites?
They were Irish Mennonites. That's what they were. So I love the fact that it's everywhere. I think this is going to be an interesting development to see.
I'll say this: it'd be nice to have a firm or one of those longer term loan apps to pay for all the food at the football game that you're going to, because the food is worse than the ticket.
And it's in Philly too, so I'm going to get charged an arm and a leg for everything.
Yeah, can you Apple Pay Later that, like, hot dog that cost $18,000?
Don't even start with me. You know my cheap bone, and you know I already paid a lot of money just for the tickets, right? And then I'm gonna have to buy a terrible towel and maybe a jersey. Like, it's gonna kill me, but it's for my wife, so I'll suck it up and just buy her pretty things, because she never buys herself anything. No, righty. All right. Well, I'm looking at this now from a points perspective. I'm gonna throw on an additional 25 points.
All right.
So you started off with your 30. We earn yourself an additional 25.
No, like, for scale, I don't understand whether that's good or
me
not.
Neither. I don't know either, Josh.
Okay, fair enough.
They're imaginary points.
New format. Who knows?
I have absolutely no idea if that was a good score or a bad score. We'll see over time.
All right.
I imagine at one point we're just going to get ridiculous and throw 600 points at an episode just for funsies, just to see what happens. Mr. Thornton.
Yes, Mr. Mellon.
I turn the attention to the good man from Pennsylvania and award you your time. And I'd love to hear what you got for today's topic.
Wow. Okay. I will not yield my time, so no one ask me before I start. So I have a multitude of things to talk about. But I think the thing that's most prevalent, the thing that we should probably discuss, but not in any detail at all. I heard Warner Brothers is having some issues. And lo and behold, their names are Amber Heard and Ezra Miller. And I don't want to get into it. Listen, everybody saw, you just had one of your co-stars of a major DC film franchise, right? Coming out this summer, maybe, lose a huge case very publicly. You've got another star of a film coming out in the next year who has been accused multiple times of assault. Awful. Now he's just recently accused of grooming a 12-year-old girl and buying her drugs. Allegedly, all of this allegedly. I'm not casting dispersions. I don't want to hear anything about what.
Whew, we almost got our own defamation lawsuit there, Brian. I appreciate your coverage.
No, I don't. It's all alleged, and I don't want to hear any of your opinions about the people or the situations themselves. My question, gentlemen, is: I have talked a lot about how I should work for Hollywood, so I want to play a little game.
Okay.
I give you the keys to Warner Brothers.
Yes.
How do you fix this? What do you do? What is your plan moving forward for the DCEU? How do you change things? I will give you a minute or two to mull it over. Do you fire everybody? Do you just ride it out? What do you do?
I mean, is there, at this point, honestly, I scale back the budget a little bit and I start making movies using the cast of the CW shows. There's no reason not to do that at this point.
Okay. I have some thoughts on that.
Yeah,
I will allow CJ to also discuss.
This is the current question happening in Warner Brothers because Discovery acquired them.
Right.
And all this stuff is still happening. So this is actually happening. I think it's been a great ride. And it's time to just throw them into the desert for a bit and drop the nuke and start over. And I think you stop trying to make anything that is a DCEU and you just go on to these solo movies. They're already doing another Joker sequel. It's time to throw that Flash movie that's been floating around for God knows how long in the trash and just eat it. I'm sure there's insurance. Eat it and start over.
See, I don't think insurance covers this.
Are you eating the trash?
Well, yeah, the movie is trash.
Are you eating the thing that you threw in the trash? I'm trying to figure out what we're eating.
Listen,
we're
if a meatball
thing.
Sub is on top of the trash, and you just dust that bad boy off, man.
It's complete. Anyone have done it before?
You don't let that shit go. If other people want to waste food, that's on them. That's how cheap CJ is. To reference
that is
the before conversation.
Accurate.
But here's the thing: the Flash is pretty much done.
Yeah,
right. Like,
it's over.
Like all of this stuff.
I mean,
no way that movie gets made.
Like the movie is done. The movie's in the hand.
Like it's completed. Like
yes, it's done, but it's not. There's no way that thing doesn't get chucked.
Oh yeah, it needs to go in the bin right away.
Oh, I know what it needs to do, but that's what I'm curious of right now. Like you're Warner Brothers, right? So let's put it this way: Aquaman is finished filming.
Yeah. I get to make the choice?
Yes. You get to. Josh Ernst is running WB Studios.
It goes in the theaters right now. Put it in theaters. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit how anybody feels about anything.
Storyboards, animatics.
Like,
you don't
throw it in there.
It up.
It's ready. Watch the movie. Give me my money. Look,
what money you might make, right?
Look, people are going to watch it regardless of what scumbaggery happened by actors in a movie. Look, people. I'm not saying.
I know. You're saying mall walkers,
right? I'm not saying the general public. I'm saying people. Just people that give a shit about these storylines are going to see it regardless of the scumbaggery. I don't care.
See,
right? I'm still going to watch The Usual Suspects all the time.
The different. I think that's a different scenario.
I'm still going to watch Ezra Miller movies.
I don't think so.
I watched him get cut out of Fantastic Beasts, right? They really trimmed his role down a lot.
We don't live in a time where you're going to go see the Ezra Miller movie. You're going to go see The Flash. So, doesn't matter who's in the suit.
I'm going to deliberately watch Zack Snyder's Justice League more now.
But again, when that's already released, you've already paid your money.
Yes.
This isn't about you paid your money. It's done. You rewatching your Blu-ray doesn't give any more money to Warner Brothers or Ezra Miller, right? But you going and plugging down $20 does.
Yeah, but I'm going to do that anyway.
Right.
But that's the thing. I don't think people, especially with how public some of this stuff has been, will.
Normies. You mean normies.
I mean the 4.5 million people who signed a petition to have a certain person removed from Aquaman 2 and still climbing. That's a huge hit. You're a studio exec. You need people.
But I don't care. Look, these are the same people that I can't get into it without going, bleh. Look, I don't care what these people have to say. I don't. And frankly, anybody that likes anything, really likes something, they're not going to care what those people think either.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know you and I have had this conversation separately because it harkens back to some issues with football that I have expressed. But what I will say is I don't think I love the idea of, you know what, let's just let's get Grant in here. Let's get him to be the Flash. I would have loved that in 2017 when we were casting Flash for a Justice League movie.
Right.
But the problem is now, I don't know if you're up to date on Flash, but they've done everything. You can't take that character and now continue his story. They've done it all on the show. So I don't see that as a viable solution anymore. You can't just do that. That character's done.
I've been mulling this over a little bit more, right? And here's what I say. I am the executive at Warner Brothers, right? I'm an executive, right? So I am a suit. Yes. I'm not a human being. I'm a suit. I look at the spreadsheet and I say, kind of what Josh says, just fucking throw the Flash movie out there. Just go ahead, put it out in the goddamn theaters. Just throw it out there. It's going to get panned. It's going to get review bombed. It's not going to make a ton of money. Fine, we'll eat it. It is what it is. We paid for this thing. It's already done. Put it out. Case in point, New Mutants, right? Just throw it out there at some point eventually and just let the world just kind of watch the thing and it'll die in oblivion. Now that it's dead, right, and that part's done, let's just nuke this because we got controversy, we've got terrible continuity, we've got the Snyder Cut, we've got people asking for this, that, the other, we've got Henry Cavill not happy with him being Superman and the way that he was used, we got Joss Whedon problems, right? Let's just screw it. Let's just put out a movie that says, hey, remember all these other movies? We're undoing them all. And then this way we can just have a way to say, if you like Jason Momoa as Aquaman, just go watch the Aquaman movie. It's not tied to everything else. If you want to see an alternate Batman where he's Ben Affleck and somehow he's fighting Michael Keaton, great, let's do it, right? Let's just break up this DCEU, not make anything connected, go on these individual stories, and maybe once in a while we'll figure out a way with the same way that we broke it to put it back together for one movie and then break it again, right? And just say, it never happened. It's the Doctor Who Day of the Doctor, right? The Day of the Doctor part where you say, I know this happened, but like in the old continuities, it doesn't matter. It only matters moving forward. Same thing.
You just take a page, Warner Brothers. You just go, what would 20th Century Fox do?
Be acquired by Disney.
They would make Days of Future Past is what they would do, and that's what you should do, right? You should just completely skip over. I mean, you cut out an entire timeline. Easy enough to do.
Yep.
Or you can just say that was in a different universe. That was on Earth too. That wasn't here, guys. That wasn't here.
There you go. Well, I mean, let's face it. The Aquaman movie doesn't really have a whole bunch of references or ties to Justice League, right? So, like...
I'm not sure I've ever seen that.
Good for you. Lucky you.
We can keep that as long as we continue to keep it separate, right? Nor does Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman doesn't really have a whole lot of ties.
I didn't see the second one.
Or Wonder Woman 1984.
Didn't see that.
Regardless, yes, Wonder Woman 1984 is a disappointment. That's a franchise that can still be saved, right?
Right.
But I think, yeah, you got to go the route that, CJ, you were saying. You pull a New Mutants, release Flash, don't put any marketing behind it.
Nope.
Don't put any pomp and circumstance.
No more money. No more money.
Here it is.
Yep.
You get whatever you can out of it. You drop it on HBO Max, and then you let it die like a bad habit.
Well, it's even better. And
you rebuild however you can. You've got a very successful Batman movie. You've got Joker. You've got Aquaman was a huge success. Wonder Woman was a huge success. Hell, I love Henry Cavill. Bring him back. Let's do a new Superman movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let's forget about Man of Steel, right? But like
Can we forget about Man of Steel?
You've got some good ingredients here, right? You just need to get rid of some of the crap. And when it comes to Mara, I don't think it's as complicated as the Ezra Miller. Just cut her out.
Yeah, just cut her out. You just go,
her.
and love interest is gone.
Cut her out or recast her. She's not necessary.
I was just about to say, just put a new face on it. The other thing, too, that you need to do if you're Warner Brothers is, and I know they've been trying to do this, but they need to actually do it. So Discovery, listen up. Free advice. Jeff Johns is a smart man. Just can you Feige him, please? Just anoint him the DC Feige and move on, and this way I don't have to worry about this.
I would be careful about that. He got into hot water through the whole Joss Whedon thing too.
Well, yeah, but yes, he did. We can forgive a bunch of weird shit. Can we? If we're still going to put the Ezra Miller movie out, at least let Jeff Johns just write up a timeline, an outline, and just be like, "Can you guys do that?" He doesn't have to run a project. Just let him outline things, and then shove him in the closet again if you have to. But he knows how to at least break things, put it back together, and then do it in a way that people will like, that was a nice story. So just get somebody who's like, that doesn't have to be Jeff Johns. Get somebody who can look at your mess, right, and go, I can make art out of this. Give me just like $5 million and a case of Red Bull, and I'll be back in a month, right? That's what I need. I just need one person to do that.
What are you spending the $5 million on?
Don't ask questions, Brian. I've got a case of Red Bull and $5 million. Let me be.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Red vines.
So like I knew what I would do. You know,
what would you do? What is this? What is the Brian Thornton work for Hollywood solution?
I think most of that is the solution, right? I think we've invested too much in this Flash movie to not release it at this point. We have to, but no one says we have to market it. So let's just dump it, get a few bucks for it, drop Ezra Miller like a bad habit. Unless things turn around. Like, listen, again, it's all alleged. So if things get proven otherwise, then maybe we can keep. But like right now, there's a huge optics issue with Warner Brothers and the DCEU in particular, because all these people are involved in the DCEU. So you got to cut ties, or you got to hope that things like change for the better. And they already cut ties with Joss, right? He's no longer involved in any projects. Time to kind of do the same with some other problematic people. And then, yeah, you just rebuild. There's good things in there. Jason Momoa is a good Aquaman for the Aquaman that we are currently looking at right now. But Mara is not integral to his story.
No,
she doesn't need to be in the movie at all. Or if you want to have her in the movie, then recast her. That's fine too. No one bat an eye when we recast Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle. No one's going to bat an eye if you recast another sub-character, right? No one bats an eye when we have 5 different Batmans, 6 to 7 different Batmans.
Yeah, we never even
we
address
all accept
those.
it.
We never even. It's like James Bond. We never address the casting changes, right?
And that's the thing, right? Like crazy plot twist. Let's say we release The Flash, and it's a huge hit. Okay, but we don't need him to be the Flash. Anybody can be the Flash. Like, no one would bat an eye if they said, hey, you know what? Due to X, Y, and Z, we are separating due to creative differences, whatever they want to spin it, and then say, hey, we got a new person. Here's this new person. Can it be Grant? Sure, it could absolutely be Grant. But if it's Grant, it can't be Grant's version of the Flash. It can't be the CW Flash.
Right.
Because that character we've done Reverse Flash 3 times. We've done Savitar. We've done Zoom. We've done Flashpoint. In 2016, when we were talking about the Justice League movie, they were on season 2 of The Flash. They hadn't done any of this stuff yet. But now it's too late. That character is fully formed. He's done it all. He's done all the major plot devices, all the major plot storylines. You got to get someone new, or you got to reboot that version.
Let me ask you a question though. If I do get Grant Gustin upgraded to movie star and he becomes the movie Flash, and even if it's alternate reality,
a Netflix movie with a dog, he is a movie star.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If I upgrade him to movie star, and it's a different Flash from a different universe, but it's still Grant Gustin because we like him as Barry Allen. Does that mean I lose the Flash show on CW? Do I have to give that up in order to save the movie universe?
It's already lost. Season 9 is the final season. So
okay, so it's over. So like we're just gonna let him continue to wear a cowl, but we'll just slap a different branding on it.
We got season 8, and last thing I heard, they were gonna do a half season for season 9.
Okay, so it's already done
for this exact reason.
So I lose nothing.
They've done all the stories. You lose nothing.
So I lose nothing. I gain everything. and then you just put a whole new creative team behind it. All right, cool. I'm done for that. How many times have we talked about the fact that we don't want DC to have to do the Marvel thing? We're like, just do your own damn thing. And this is evident of the fact of you've connected too many movies that you just start getting that poison apple thing going through it. And then you're just like, I don't know if I want this. I don't know if I want this anymore. So yeah, go ahead.
And keep in mind, they have 2 other DC projects that are bound to be successful coming out too. You do have Shazam 2.
Yep.
What is it? Wrath of the Gods, which was the first one, was entirely successful and very tangentially connected to the DCEU.
So loosely,
just by the fact that Superman exists, right?
There's the Batarang.
And then you've got the Black Adam, which just dropped its trailer this past week. What did we think of that trailer?
I did not watch the trailer, only because I'm already sold. Well, I don't need to watch another trailer.
You haven't watched the first trailer. You've seen a 5-second snippet.
They have been showing me snippets of The Rock being awesome for so long. I don't need any more. No, I'm done.
Watch this trailer. You're the worst.
Oh,
you're seriously the worst human being.
You do remember that I'm dishing out the points this week, correct? Because
I don't. You know what? I don't care. I haven't gotten a single point for any of my one-liners or any of my fun attitudes. You know what?
You were riding high on some good point journeys, but we'll have to take a look at that.
Watch the trailer. Anyway, you've got these 2 films coming out.
Josh, did you watch the trailer? I want to see if I'm alone in this game.
For Black Adam?
Yeah.
For Black Adam.
No.
Ta-da! 10 more points for Josh.
God.
Only because it's a lame duck movie.
I don't think so. And if you watch the trailer, you would know. Now, wouldn't you?
Hold on. That's perfect.
It is. Like the only thing good really that they've got that is untarnished really is Shazam.
Yes.
So if that's tied in, great.
And Wonder Woman.
No, it's tarnished by Justice League and everything else that goes along with it. It's
okay. I'll give it to you.
So Shazam is the only thing that is completely unaffiliated.
Correct.
So it's it's the only thing that I think is salvageable.
I mean, I think Wonder Woman and Aquaman are salvageable. I do. I think with some quick thinking and some recasting. Now, we don't work for Warner Brothers, so who knows if they have either of those things.
No, they're going to fuck that all up.
No, they're going to mess this all up by themselves.
They will most certainly screw it all up, but I think if you, with some quick thinking and some good social media posts, you can save Wonder Woman and Aquaman. I think the rest needs to go in the trash.
Let me ask you this. Let's put on our executive suits again. So again, we're not fans, we're executives, right? We just care about spreadsheets, numbers, office stuff. Right?
I will argue that the fact that Kevin Feige is a fan is what makes him a good executive. So don't put that on me.
But we're Warner Brothers, so we're idiots. So we're all suits, okay? And we look at spreadsheets at the end of the day, and we make decisions based off what a number tells us. Our abacus
algorithms.
Exactly. Look at Space Jam and tell me. Look at Space Jam, the reboot, and tell me that they care about fandom. No, they care about algorithms and numbers. So,
did you watch Space Jam?
No, because it was terrible. So I'm not going to watch it.
So no, I want you to know. Like, I watched Space Jam: A New Legacy. All right. If you watch that film, it's actually a commentary on this exact thing.
It hurts that you're calling it a film and saying that it's a commentary.
It's an hour and a half feature film.
Money grab.
You're absolutely right. And it's a commentary on how that movie, Space Jam: A New Legacy, is a money grab.
No.
Yes,
Spaceballs is a commentary on movies being a money grab. Space Jam is a money grab.
Have you seen Space Jam: A New Legacy?
No, and I won't.
Then you can't have an opinion.
I have read enough about it to know.
I'm telling you, that movie is a blatant, just putting it out there, this is a money grab. And as such, is a satire of the entire idea that we made a Space Jam 2 to begin with, and speaks to this exact concept. How we're just doing this for a money grab. So, if that's not a commentary, I don't know what is. I didn't say it was good. I said that's just what it is. It's a terrible film, by the way. I've gotten literally like zero. Did I punch your mother in a former life or something?
Your points are sitting right. I'm looking at them right now, deciding how much I'm gonna.
You haven't announced them yet.
Where am I? Your segment is not done, good sir. Therefore, your points are.
Josh was getting points before his segment was done.
All right. So here's my question, Brian. Again, I am not a fan. I'm an executive suit at Warner Brothers who saw Space Jam and said, "Put all the IP in there right now." Do you look at this IP and say, this still has innate value that I'll keep forever? Or are you looking to go, again, I'm Discovery, I'm not Warner Brothers. Who's going to buy this shit? Because we should probably get rid of this.
Even the shitty films in this franchise are billion-dollar films. They make at least $600 million to $1 billion. Like, they make their money and then some. But that's the thing. Like, those are, and like, shitty films. Films that people know are going to be shitty to begin with.
Like Justice League.
No one walked into Justice League thinking this is going to be it. Because we had a Batman v Superman before and we were like, oh, that sucked. Justice League's probably going to suck too. But we all went to see it anyway. It made like $1 billion. So yeah, the franchise is viable. The characters are viable. The characters are likable. Given to the right people, you can do good things with it.
The only option is murder everything. Anything in the pipeline, murder it now. Nuke the damn thing and start over, right? It's got to be the only option.
I don't think you have to murder it. I think you just drop it all. Let me get the money that I can, and then you go one of two routes. You either try to piecemeal this and do what you said, CJ. Hey, separate. We're not trying to connect everything. Let's just dump as much as we can and see what sticks. Or you nuke it all, and as much as I like, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman and Momoa as Aquaman, maybe you recast everything and you start from scratch. Like that might be the way to go. And now you're 25 years behind Marvel instead of where you were at originally, which was 5 years behind Marvel because you screwed the pooch so bad.
And I think that's the thing as execs, you have to stop saying we want the Marvel thing and just be like, yeah, we'll still make these animated DC dog movies too and get our paycheck that way, right? We'll make John Krasinski the Superman, and we'll make Rock the super dog, right? And just cash in on money on that way, and maybe stop trying to make your money on these tentpole characters and keep freaking it up.
Did you just make a Super Pets reference?
Yeah, Super Pets is coming out. It's going to make a lot of money. You don't think Super Pets is going to pull in the Minion crowd? You're insane.
Of course it's going to. I'm not. All
right. Well, again, the answer is we don't have the answer, right? We don't have the answer. It definitely seems like, hey, just now you got to throw yourself against the wall and just see what sticks, right? Throw your shit there and just see what happens. And God help Discovery trying to figure this all out by itself. Brian, I'm now looking at my tally of your one-liners, quips, and the topic itself, which was pretty darn engaging. And I award you 65 points for your topic and discussion. Now, knowing
topic was amazing. Thank you.
Knowing your quips, Josh, are what got you back onto the scoreboard with additional points. So right now, going into the final topic, we are neck and neck, which means that the final topic, which is mine, is your opportunity to earn some additional points.
Point of order. Do
yes.
I get points for my oncoming child?
Uncoming?
He is incoming.
Incoming? He's outgoing.
I don't know how you would say it, but sure. Do I get additional points for delaying the podcast 180 plus days?
You're not the one eating for two.
Yeah, you didn't do anything.
Cassie can get additional points. No, you can't get any extra points.
No, you get no points for you get no points for having a baby. You didn't do anything.
Okay.
Babies come with hats. You get a hat. That's what you get. All right. Moving on to our final topic, which, hey, why not continue our discussion about what's going on with our fandoms and how come they're a little messed up? Let's talk about Star Wars, right? So, oh yeah, look at the groan that just happened. Oh, I feed off of this. All right, so I have been following a TikTok account called Star Wars Dinks, right? It is a puppet that apparently knows everything about Star Wars lore.
I've seen this. I'm convinced it's Dave Filoni behind the puppet. Yes,
it's the only way. And the puppet's also just like, listen, sometimes I mess up, okay? So, like, I'm a puppet. It happens. If you know the right answer, just tell me. Just correct me. Just put it in the comments. Just be nice about it, okay? And if you see a question and you know the answer, just put in the answer, okay? I'm okay. Whatever we have to do. We're all one big happy family. So this puppet has been bringing me up to date with Star Wars canon, and seeing a lot of shifts happening. So Legends and the extended universe is apparently now non-canonical, non-canon. We've got the addition of Obi-Wan joining now and changing some of the canon and retconning some different things. We look at the sequel movies, the last 3 movies with Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams trying to do whatever they can to canon, and fans are not happy. Fans are being terrible people. Fans are being fantastic people. There's gatekeeping. Star Wars is crazy.
Allegedly.
Yes, alleged. Thank you. No, fans are being racist. There's no allegedly on that one. There's racist assholes that are Star Wars fans. So my question is, I'm starting to like this franchise more and more, right? I'm starting to like Star Wars in a different way. We all have our own opinions about The Last Jedi and the movies that came through with this. Right now, as a Star Wars fan, how happy are you with the way things are being run? And by the way that the whole thing is happening right now.
I mean, the whole thing consists of 2-3 shows at this point, right?
Soon to be 5 because you have
But
you got Mando, you got Mando, Book of Boba, you've got Obi-Wan, you've got canceled Rian Johnson movie, so they're now no longer happening. You've got Taika Waititi about to do some movies. You got Bad
Ahsoka
Batch.
Tano, is that still going on?
Ahsoka's coming out.
Yeah, like there's a lot.
There's a new one coming out called The Skeleton Crew from J.J. Watts.
Yeah, like I'm fine with their show format stuff. It's been for the most part good. Even though I'm not like a huge fan of The Mandalorian, I am a huge fan of Westerns, and I do like that theme, which is cool. The movies are just terrible. I mean, really terrible. They're terrible.
The movies have been very disappointing. And I stand here as a defender of The Last Jedi because I actually do enjoy The Last Jedi. I hate Rise of Skywalker. I truly don't like Rise of Skywalker.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing that killed the entire trilogy.
Right.
Yeah. Let's end it on a down note,
completely
please.
Forgettable. And this goes into a article that I read a month ago or so, where Kathleen Kennedy was like, "We're not going to recast legacy characters anymore. We learned our lesson from Solo." To which I said, "You learned the wrong lesson from Solo. There is so many other problems with that film. The problem was not Alden Ehrenreich." And I think that's what this boils down to. I don't want to pin it on one person.
No, you're allowed to.
But I do think we need to have... Listen, Star Wars is always going to try new things. So you want to talk about the fandom being shitty? Those are people who hate the fact that Star Wars is trying new things, and they need to get over it. And they need to... They need to realize that in order for this franchise to grow the way they want it to grow, they claim they want it to grow, you're going to need to abandon some crap. We need to be done with the Skywalkers and everybody connected. That's why The Mandalorian is as successful as it is, because whereas it is connected, it's so tangentially connected, it's not even funny. We don't go to see Luke Skywalker. We go to see Din Djarin and Grogu.
Tangentially connected, not inextricably linked, is what you're saying.
Correct. I can remove Luke Skywalker from that show and I still have the show. It's not about Skywalker. It's not about Obi-Wan. And I think fans need to get over themselves. And I think they need to bury the Skywalkers where they belong. That story is done. It was great. We need to move past this. Otherwise, it's never going to get anywhere. There's only a finite amount of stories I can tell about the same 10 people. And we're out. We've run out. So now we are either having to reboot or change things, which is pissing off people who hold these things way too closely. Yeah. Or we need to do different things. It is a galaxy filled with people. Why are we only exploring these 10? Like, that's my main thing about Star Wars right now. I am enjoying the Obi-Wan show. I'm very lukewarm on it. I don't think it's amazing. I also don't think it's crap. I feel the same way about the Obi-Wan show as I felt about Solo. This will be done, and a year from now, I'll be like, oh yeah, That was a thing that I watched once. Fine. And there were some good parts to it. Just like Solo had its good parts. Freaking Donald Glover as Lando, which was a legacy character who was recast, by the way, was amazing in that film and was a shining part of that film. The Kessel Run was fun. Don't ask me what the plot of that film was. I have no idea. And I'm feeling very similar about Obi-Wan. I know Obi-Wan has its issues. It's been rewritten like 3 times. I know the issue was it was supposed to be a movie. And then they decided, you know what, let's put it as a Disney plush. And then Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau came in and said, this is too much Mandalorian. It's too much Obi-Wan protecting Leia. So they went and did the rewrite. And then they wanted to have Darth Maul. And Dave Filoni's like, no. I did Darth Maul. I gave him a whole arc. He's done. So then they added Darth Vader. So I know this is not a show that has gotten a smooth ascension. It still is just fine. I don't think the villains are very threatening. I don't understand their motivation.
Well, all right, so I don't want to turn this into a Kenobi critique, right? Because
I'm not done yet. And it's not just a Kenobi critique. But the thing is, the best part about that show right now is Vader.
Right.
And that's coming back to the problem of Star Wars, is that it's always got to come back to Vader. We can't seem to come up with a new villain. We can't seem to come up with someone just as engaging. We can't seem to come up with a hero that we can all latch onto without them being named Skywalker or being trained by Skywalker or being the dog of Skywalker. Like, I just...
that's Taika Waititi's next movie. Be careful.
Right. But that's where I'm at. Like, I love this series. This was the thing that got me into film. And all the nerdiness around sci-fi and movies and comic books started with me watching Star Wars. So I'm always going to watch whatever they put out. But it's a grab bag of great or crap right now. It's not consistent. And I think they need to break out of this mold before it can really be a franchise that's worthy. And it's a much better as a television franchise. Maybe we need to put the films on hold.
That's the next part. So first off, some point of orders. 10 points for Brian for making an excellent point, and then 5 points to Josh for explaining it in a more concise manner. So that'll help balance out the points in that regard. So that has been the observation. Josh, you kind of said the same thing too, where it's just, hey, I'm really enjoying this Disney Plus stuff, and not so much the 2-hour movies that you're setting your canon in, setting these big launch stories with. However, the one thing that rubbed me or was weird to me was I was excited for the Book of Boba Fett, right? Just to give that character some really cool opportunities, and we kind of joked that it was like, you know, the space mafia kind of episode, the Godfather of space, right? But in the middle of the Book of Boba Fett, we just completely stopped the story for a whole episode that was The Mandalorian. Like, it was a Mandalorian episode, and it wasn't connecting itself to Boba Fett and what he was going through. So again, this is that initial problem of, hey, you're telling a story. Can we not tie it back to the other thing? Can you just tell us this one story, please? It's very much like me trying to give a history lesson where I'm going to go off on a tangent about something unrelated, and then come back to the main point. So there's a lot happening, a lot that's good with it. I'm just getting a little worried about the movies that are coming out and what's happening. I'm enjoying the TV shows.
And this is my point, right? Like, why did we need this? We didn't need Boba Fett to show back up. We had a Mandalorian, and he was great. The thing that made Boba Fett most popular was his armor. We didn't know anything about the character. He just looked cool.
Correct.
Yeah.
Facts.
So, like, we didn't need that show. It was just, it felt useless. And then, like, we're surprised, and we scratch our heads when, like, everyone says, oh, it was a disappointment. Oh, well, why was it a disappointment? We gave you what you wanted. No, we liked Boba Fett because he was just Boba Fett. He was a badass bounty hunter, which, by the way, I have a bone to pick with anybody who sits here and says that Boba Fett was a badass bounty hunter, because every single time in the movie
He failed.
He gets his ass kicked.
Yeah.
He was a cool toy,
not.
Brian. Leave him alone.
We like amped this character up in our brain so much over 3 scenes in the film where he just got stomped on.
I think it's just that he's shrouded in mystery.
Right.
Like,
and the mystery,
the Logan
we filled
effect.
in the gaps and we made it cool. here's the part that I'm coming to. This is Star Wars. I think is a fantastic franchise, right? I think this is endless possibilities on a galaxy far, far away, right? We like the Mandalorian stuff. There are some tie-ins with Ahsoka, right? Like things are tying into previous things. But if we just said, hey, let's just tell a completely original, non-connected Star Wars story, and you're never going to see Darth Vader again. Let me ask you this as a nerd and take a minute. Are you going to be okay with never seeing your favorite characters again?
Yes.
No. Nope.
That's the reaction
Gosh,
I thought we would get.
They're still there. There's still 6 movies with them and multiple TV shows.
No, they were ruined by the last 3.
There.
So let me turn our attention
you can
then
still watch Empire Strikes Back.
Hold on.
Right?
Let me turn the attention to Josh. I'd like to hear his reason for his no, and I'll give you your time for a yes. But let's keep it at why no, Josh. If I give you a completely original story, we never see any of those characters again. Why a no?
Oh, I don't think you can. First, I don't think you can, right? Because everything that Disney is doing is saying we're still, and I don't think people would just accept an original story. Look, people are drawn to these characters, right? Because they've been around for 50 years, and it's just a big part of, who we are culturally, as nerds, unfortunately. Like the entire, almost every story that is told has aspects of these. And obviously, this isn't original story content. Stories have been being made like this since the dawn of time, but it's still, this is the one that did it in science fiction first. So, can you just say, here's an original Star Wars story, go see it. Everybody's going, where's the back? Like, everybody's looking for context. Everybody's looking for backstory. I don't think you can make a Star Wars title and say, this is all new, right? There needs to be some sort of tie-in somewhere.
I think that you can still have mentions. I think you can still have Jedi. But if we really just pressed a fast forward button on Star Wars and let go and said it's been 200 years since the last time we had ever heard the word Skywalker or Jedi, right? And there are all these people who can move things with their minds now, and we've got a sword that's made out of, freaking laser beam. You think we need to hear the words Yoda? We need to hear Skywalker. We need to hear Obi-Wan in order for the fans to like it? Is that what we need in order to just keep fans there, or are we just going to get a bunch of new people?
No, people.
No, I don't. Right? I think that's right. I don't think that's true at all.
Go ahead.
And I have 2 examples in the Star Wars universe to prove my point, which is Ahsoka Tano and Grogu, who we did do a show that, 6 years after the episode 6, sure, really didn't have any reference to the Skywalkers in it, and we all fell in love with Grogu and Mando for 8 episodes.
You know what, dude? If you went and you surveyed 1 million people, 1 million, and you said, could you describe for me Grogu's features? They would say, who is Grogu? And then you would have to say,
Baby Yoda. I get that.
What? No. Then I'm what I'm doing is invalidating your argument, because the tie-in is Yoda, and Grogu, had he not looked like fucking Yoda,
yep,
would not have been received the same way.
Okay, this is all speculation. I can't say for sure.
What if it looked like Baby Jar Jar? What if it was Baby Jar Jar?
I would have loved that. I'm not even joking.
I would have thought it was hilarious too. But the thing is that he'd have been a bumbling idiot, right? And nobody likes that. But
Jar Jar's the only bumbling idiot in the Gungans.
Right.
Justice for Jar Jar. No, here's the thing though.
If it was a baby Gungan, I think it could have been equally well received.
When we didn't know Grogu's name and just kept calling him Baby Yoda, everybody in the show at that point, the word Yoda, the name Yoda, never came up. It never crossed anybody's lips. They didn't infer, even the freaking not Sith, but the guy who goes, I want to see the baby, never even mentioned the name or anything about Yoda, right? But we all knew it. It was just mentioned, but we never actually brought it up. And millions of people became huge fans of this little creature without even knowing Yoda, right? They just loved the cute, oh, look at this little baby, right? So why can't we just do that? Yes, there could be a name drop. Yes, there could be a mention. Yes, we can design a character that kind of looks like that, but not actually mention these things.
But that is my point, right? My point is we did it successfully with this character. We also did it successfully with Ahsoka, although slightly different. You both have not seen the Clone Wars television show,
Nope.
But I have, and I can tell you that show, even though it starts off big poster of Anakin and Obi-Wan, after about halfway through season 2, Anakin and Obi-Wan go F off for a long time, and it's the Ahsoka Tano show.
Good.
And that last season is all about Ahsoka. And it's very much about her more than it is about... And Anakin and Obi-Wan just kind of float in and out from like seasons 3 through season 7. They're there, but they're not there. And again, another character with a massive following, huge fan base. Everybody loves her. We're getting a live action show because of it. I think you can do it. I don't think... And I quite frankly, this is what Force Awakens was supposed to be. It was supposed to be, here's these new characters. Oh, they are tangentially connected and hanging out with old characters, and we're going to pass the torch. Like, that was the concept. We're going to move things along, and we didn't. Rise of Skywalker ruined that. But
Josh,
I think it's possible.
Josh, I'll give you any final thoughts, any final sayings on your Star Wars opinions here. That can we do this?
No. Look, I think it was a solid topic. I think either stick to shows or stop making movies that are so shitty. I mean, one of the two. You choose. I don't care.
Ironically
enough,
two big topics today came down to, hey, person in charge, can you just not? Can you not? Can you just do better? We want you to do
whatever.
Hire one of the three of us, please. Right, which is where we need to be. Just hire some nerds, and to Brian's point, right? The reason we don't have a problem with this with Marvel is because Kevin Feige is a fan. Ergo, the things have been really good, right? So just get the fans involved in the right way and get the right fans to come in. And if you're saying some really stupid shit on the internet about actors and actresses and roles and all that stuff, then you don't get to be a fan. Go ahead, just go do something else. There's millions of other creatures in the galaxy. You don't have to choose to be an asshole, right? Go be something else. And then you can call yourself a fan of whatever you create. So you go out there and you go do that. But for those who are in charge, can you please just do better?
Listen, I'm going to wrap the fan aspect of this up by just saying this. There was a time in 1980 where people were pissed off that that Darth Vader was Luke's father. And they were like, no, that can't be it. They're lying. And like, they were shitty about it too. The only difference is that they didn't have social media.
Yeah, we have the internet.
And like, and now 40 years later, everybody looks back and says, that's the favorite film. That's our favorite part. This is the best villain of all time. So you know what, fans? I don't give a shit how you feel about things now. Wait for it to be done. Reflect on it. Discuss it. Maybe you'll actually learn to like it. I'm not saying that everything that Star Wars is putting out is gold. I think I've been very clear. It's been a grab bag of great and trash. But, like, just be happy you're getting it.
Right.
And, like, stop trying to dictate what the studio does with the story, with the IP. It's not yours. Just be along for the ride. That's your role as a fan, is to be along for the ride. You can't dictate how story happens. Just let it go.
Well, we don't like to lose control, Brian, but we're humans and we're going to have to deal with it. All right, that is the end of my topic, and therefore is the end of the show. I'm now looking at my scoreboard here, and while I have no additional points to award, even if I did, I think they would just cancel each other out. We are now looking at Josh with 70 points, and Brian Thornton with 75, making Brian Thornton the first winner of the new That Kind of Nerd format. Congratulations, sir. You will be the host next week.
Well done, sir.
Thank you. Huzzah, huzzah.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much, listeners, for making us your walk around your neighborhood, your drive to work, or whatever it is we are in your life. We will see you on the next episode.
Well, welcome to the club, because you are that kind of nerd.
So we all just got kicked out of that meeting, right? We just made a new one in Google. Like Google's not going to figure this out. Is that what's happening?
And here we are.
Let's see if this works. Let's see if Google's smart enough to say, I don't know who these people are.
They were just here.
I don't. It's just this isn't the same meeting. We'll give him another hour, Johnny. Give him another hour of time.
It's like we all just showed up again with like fake mustaches, like a fedora.
What kind of pen is that? Is that an Elder Wand pen?
This is an Elder Wand
This is
pen.
not a pen. This is Voldemort's wand, miniature keychain. So to your points.